Number 6. US 1's Silver Dollar Remote Control. Here's an obscure one I doubt anyone will recognize. US 1 was a Marvel comic about a truck driver who drove around in a souped-up semi, aptly titled US 1. It was full of poor writing and the premise was ridiculous. The main character, Ulysses Solomon Archer, no, I'm seriously not making that name up, that is really the character's name, was injured after a mysterious villain drove he and his brother off the road. He somehow afforded a complex brain surgery that replaced part of his skull with a new metal. After learning that this metal allowed him to hear CB radio transmissions, he decided to use this to hunt down his brother's killer. And so he upgrades his rig into a technologically advanced super rig with radars and weapons and the like. But the most patently ridiculous part of this is a remote control he has for the truck. That's inside of a silver dollar. And next he'll teach us how to put a TV remote inside of a quarter. Or how about a gun inside of a nickel? For God's sakes, this was written in the early 80s. Apple had just released the Lisa computer. This was the extent of computer technology. Yet this loser can build a remote control for his truck and fit it inside a silver dollar? The silver dollar remote control. Not even James Bond films get that silly. Number 5. Brick's spontaneous combustion in Dooms 4 number 2. Yeah, this one's another one that I commented on recently, but it deserves a second look. In one panel, Brick is just standing in a weird position over his kids, and then in the next panel, he explodes. No explanation is offered beyond him being clumsy. Clumsy about what, though? Did he trip? If he touches something, does his body just fall apart? Is his blood nitroglycerin, and if he doesn't walk around like a fashion model, his body just kablooms? Brick's spontaneous combustion. Few times have there ever been such a failure in sequential storytelling. Number 4. Stanley's cameo in Nightcat number 1. Yeah, Stan Lee, who wrote this boring little comic about a singer called Nightcat, who got such awesome cat powers like climbing walls and driving in a stupid-looking car and wearing electrical tape on her arms. Yeah, she's real cat-like. But the most shocking thing in this comic is that Stan Lee writes himself into the comic, offering to write a comic about her. What kind of weird-ass Grant Morrison's Animal Man deconstruction, metafiction, postmodern bullcrap is this? It doesn't contribute anything to the story. It's just this bizarre 4-panel interlude where Stan Lee writes himself in and tells her he wants to make a comic out of her. What was the freaking point? Stan Lee, co-creator of Spider-Man and full creator of Stan Lee. Number 3. Diehards Crotch Attack. Where would horrible comics be without Rob Liefeld? The man inspired an entire generation of terrible artwork and even more terrible writing. On the subject of his artwork, though, one panel in particular has continued to capture my imagination and wonder just what the hell was he thinking ever since I saw it in my very first text recap of Youngblood number 1. The robotic character known as Diehard, with a vengeance, suddenly flies in and assaults some random huge Liefeld villain known as Strongarm. And he does so with his crotch! I mean, look at it! I'm sure the implication was that he hit him with his arms, but his arms look like he folded them back. His legs are equally out of the way of the hit, and his crotch has been detailed so that it's bulging out. In addition, the arc of blood from Strongarm's mouth points towards the crotch's location. Live free or Diehard's crotch. It's a simple choice. Number 2. The Alchemy Machine in Sultry Teenage Super Fox's number 1 that turns dog poop into gold. The Alchemy Machine in Sultry Teenage Super Fox's number 1 that turns dog poop into gold. An alchemy machine that turns dog poop into gold. Folks, that just says it all. By the way, in case you're wondering, the government decides not to fund such a machine because it's too theoretical. They turned dog poop into gold! And the number 1 bad comic book WTF moment is Snowflame. Just Snowflame. From New Guardians number 2, Snowflame is, depending on how you look at him, either the worst villain ever created or the awesomest villain ever created. Snowflame is the man powered by cocaine. Seriously, his entire shtick is that he snorts cocaine and it gives him powers. What's even better is that the cocaine creates some of the coolest lines of dialogue ever uttered in a comic book. I am Snowflame. Every cell of my being burns with white-hot ecstasy. Cocaine is my god, and I am the human instrument of its will. You see before you a man on fire, a man who craves any excuse to burn brighter. I burn with thought, accelerated thought generated by my fantastically heightened mental senses. I feel no pain, although I relish your feeble attempts to inflict it. Snowflame feels no pain. Snowflame is the head priest of the Church of Cocaine. No, I take it back. Snowflame is a true god. He is quite literally the crackiest character in all of bad comics, and right-wise, his appearance sparks the most WTFs out of anything I've ever seen. What the hell were they thinking when they invented this guy? Sadly, Snowflame passed away in the very same issue he debuted in, but not to drug overdose, oh no. He was killed in battle, having been blown up by a shack containing gunpowder and dynamite that someone had for some reason placed right next to his pool. It made sense at the time, because he was high. I salute you, Snowflame. You are just one big, crack-snorting WTF.
What the fuck was that? Fact or merely a hallucination? What the fuck was that? Demons are my new pet peeve. What the fuck was that? Something that would kill for recreation. What the fuck was that?